Hello, my name is Megan Schlickman. I'm the owner of Nexus Financial. We do full service bookkeeping and tax for Jobber and QuickBooks users, and today I'm covering the big topic of sales tax. So today we're going to go over your sales tax settings in Jobber. We're going to go over how to find your sales tax for your location, and then finally we're going to go over how to build out your invoice. One area I think Jobber lacks in is that we can't add in multiple tax lines onto one invoice, and we have to create the tax group instead, or a single tax rate here. So once inside of Jobber, if you go over to your gear icon and go over to settings, you can scroll down and you can see your tax settings here. This is where we can add in a new tax rate. For this example account that I have pulled up, that's exactly what we have. We have our different tax groups as tax rates in here, and then I have the tax name and the tax rate listed here. So if we want to add in a new one, I named them as the percentage here. So this could be 7.5%. For our first one, our tax rate would be 7.5%, and then I keep the internal description the same. The reason why is because this customer does a lot of service locations, and so we look up each address manually and keep that percentage tied as a custom field to the customer account here in Jobber. With that being said, once you have your tax rates added in, then you can update your settings to save that here. So that's how you add in your tax settings and tax rates into Jobber's sales tax rate. I'm going to drop in a very helpful link for how to find that in the description box below. It's through Avalara, and I'm going to show you how I use it. And if your state is going to be a destination-based sales tax state, then you need to charge sales tax based on where your customer is located. If your state instead is an origin-based sales tax rate, then you charge sales tax based on where your office is located, even if you perform work somewhere else at people's homes and things like that. A lot of states are destination-based sales tax, so we do need to look up the sales tax rate based on where your customer is located if they're in a different city or in a different county. With that being said, it is very important to also charge the correct sales tax amount. That is because if you undercharge sales tax for a customer, you as the business are liable for that difference and to pay that sales tax to the state instead. And on the flip side, if you overcharge sales tax from one of your customers, then you are required to pay back that overage back to your customer, which is really hard to track here. This is why it's super important to track the correct sales tax rate. So how do we find the sales tax rate? Like I said, there's a link in the description box below to Avalara, and I'm going to show you how to use it now. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. What we have here, I'm going to go through a few different state examples. Washington State, for example, has both a state tax and a city tax. So if you add in the address here, it's going to automatically calculate what sales tax percentage we need to charge. And here's our example. This is one of the Capitol buildings there in Olympia, for example, for the address here. If instead, maybe you're based in the state of Texas, I'm going to show you another example. So let's say we want to use a different government building in the state of Texas. We just need to change the address. Texas here. Go ahead and select lookup rates once you have the street address. Now, typically this is going to be your customer's address instead. You go ahead and look that up. You can see the state tax of 6.25% here, but then the county or city of Belton also has 1.5% added on, and then the county has another 0.5% added on. So then I know if I'm servicing this address, if this were to be a destination-based state, then the combined sales tax rate would be 8.25%. And so I would want to make sure inside of my sales tax settings that I have one of 8.25%. This is for a different state here, so we're not going to see 8.25% listed here. But that is how you can use this tool to help you know which tax percent to add on. For example, I have one other state that we can review. This is going to be a different government building, and this one's going to be in Minnesota. So maybe we look up 300 South 6th Street in Minneapolis. And this one's going to be in Minnesota. Go ahead and you can select look up the rate here. Minnesota is one that has a lot of variations on their sales tax percentages. So you have the city of Minneapolis, you have the county here, and then there's also going to be sales tax for the metro area housing and transportation, and then a different one for the county here for transit improvement, and then the state tax here. So then I know for this invoice, if I were to service this address, I would need to charge this percent. This is so critical inside of Jobber because once your invoice syncs to QuickBooks, if your percentages does not match this, QuickBooks does automatically look up the address that you were servicing and apply their sales tax there to that address. So very useful tool. Like I said, the link is in the description box below. I want you to use this if you are a destination-based state for sales tax to look up where to find the sales tax percentage for that specific location. So the final thing I'm going to go over is how to build your invoice in Jobber with this updated percent. All right, so once you are ready to make your new invoice inside of Jobber, you will pull up your customer account that you're ready to invoice for. You can add on your products and services listed here. Maybe it's tree removal, maybe your price is $1,500. Obviously, not sure what your specific business is, but we will pull that information from Avalara to know which tax amount that we need to add in here. So for that example, if it was Minneapolis, we saw from Avalara that we need to charge the 9.025% tax rate. If instead we needed to charge a different tax rate, then these are the options that we built out in our settings first. And I want you to select the correct one that supports your customer location. Again, every state is different, so be sure to look up if you are destination-based sales tax or origin-based sales tax, and then be sure to look up if your state has both state, county, and city taxes to add on, and that's why I do suggest the Avalara reference guide there. So once you select your correct sales tax amount, then you can go ahead and save your invoice, send it, collect payment, things like that. When it syncs on over to QuickBooks, since we used the correct sales tax percentage, then when QuickBooks looks at the invoice and it's looking at the address that the work was performed at, then QuickBooks is also going to pull in that sales tax percentage. And if there's any manual overrides that need to be done, such as rounding, that can be done inside of QuickBooks Online for your sales tax report. At the end of the month, quarter, or year, you can remit your sales tax by pulling your taxation report out of your reports and submit that to the state to have that taken care of. If you have any questions, let me know. Drop them down in the comment box below. And thank you guys so much.